All right, hello everyone, and welcome back for more biotechnology. So, very short video we're going to have here. We're just going to say a few words about different careers in the biotech industry. So, how many people a biotech company is going to employ, and this isn't something that's necessarily specific or unique to a biotech company. Really, any company works this way. It's going to depend on how far along the company is in its lifespan, how much revenue and profit they bring in, and projections for future revenue as well. So, a very small startup company, regardless of whether it's biotech or not, is not going to be able to employ hundreds of people. But as a small biotech company manufactures a product through research and development and sales, makes profit, is able to hire more people, those new employees can then start up new projects, which then eventually through manufacturing, research and development and marketing and all that become profitable. You can hire more and more people, and this is basically the pathway that a biotech company goes on to get very, very big and very, very profitable, so it can employ and pay a lot of people and give them jobs and careers, right? So, as far as careers in a biotech company go, you might be surprised to learn that you don't necessarily have to be a scientist to work at a biotech company. However, though, if you're working in a non-scientific role, you still need to have some background in at least understanding and being able to talk about science. So let's look at this. So science positions are pretty obvious. So research and development, quality control, manufacturing and production, clinical research. So these are kind of the lab scientists, right? Well, as far as non-science position goes, information technology, so working with computers and data networks and things of that nature, those people at a biotech company are going to have some idea of what sorts of machines and operations go on in a lab so that they can know how to design and come up with IT solutions for them. So, for example, if a DNA sequencer hooks up to the internet and hooks up to maybe some database, you're going to want to have a IT engineer that understands that and is able to facilitate a connection to that network or to that database. Sales and marketing, so a salesperson, if the biotech company has a new product, that salesperson is going to have to know about that product and know what its strengths and weaknesses are when that salesperson is trying to sell to someone who is potentially going to buy. You don't want to be totally clueless when you're trying to sell a product, right? And the same goes for marketing. You have to understand the product to understand what are people going to latch on to, how can we market this in such a way that people are going to want to buy it. And then there's also administration and legal affairs. There is, of course, as we've talked about before, the business side of biotech, and you want to be well versed in that, and also things like patent law, so legal affairs and things of that nature. So, as far as education goes, how far along in the education pipeline do you really need to go to get a biotech job? So, surprisingly, not that far, not as far as you might think. So, regardless, as I said, regardless of whether you take a scientific or non-scientific position, you want to have some knowledge of the biotech industry in your company's production processes and things of that nature as they become necessary. So look at this educational hierarchy here. So if you start at the top, the first two, the postdoctorate and the doctorate, these are going to be people that have PhDs or MDs or some equivalent degree. So in my case, my PhD took 6 years after my undergrad. My undergrad took 4 years. My PhD took 6 years. So that's a total of 10 years of education, right? So that would, if I decided to join a biotech company, that would qualify me to kind of be somewhere near the top of this ladder here, either a research scientist or something of that nature. So a master's degree doesn't take nearly as long as a PhD, so that's usually somewhere between 1 to 3 years, so that would land you somewhere around a research associate, still doing serious, important work in the biotech lab or biotech setting, but maybe not making independent decisions about what sorts of things to do and what sorts of experiments to do. And the same goes for a bachelor's degree. So just 4 years of college is actually sufficient to allow you to get a job working in a lab. But it's the same sort of thing. You're not necessarily going to be calling the shots, but you still will get to do all kinds of cool things. And then biotechnicians and lab assistants come at the level of 1 to 2 years of community college, high school diploma. You can still work in a lab in this setting, but you may be a little more limited in terms of what you can kind of do in the lab. Certainly, at the certificate or community college level, you might be part of the production or manufacturing process, but you may not necessarily be a part of the research and development team. All right, so like I said, short video, so that is going to do it for this one. Join us next time, and we will get into the last part of Chapter 1, and we will start talking about ethics in biotechnology. So join us next time, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.